And honestly, we started the podcast exactly the same reason. The idea is to just, trigger the conversation, get people start talking about it, so there is more education in the industry. And
I think on that topic, Ahmad, something that I wanted to ask Karen about is, as you've mentioned, you've been thinking about this concept, and a lot of other organizations, either individually or jointly, have been coming up with different ideas and solutions. And for example, when we attended the Airspace World in Lisbon in May, uh, there was a presentation about the concept of operations that would unify the urban traffic management with the conventional air traffic management, the ATM, UTM, and the coexistence, and they have this pathway into the future that they're working together with ICAO. And that was such a fantastic discussion. I think a lot of the ANSPs have been listening proactively with their conservative mindset as well. But I think what is important is kind of understand the unification scheme of the future, how all of the countries will be working on bringing together the all the efforts to kind of make one system work in every country in the same exact way as we're looking at it. And I know this is just the early days, but I think has been talking about the industry partnership and scaling 2030. Cats Caught Up by Kanzo talks about 2050. But Karen, what is in your opinion kind of the missing piece of the puzzle here?
So one of the things that NASA is working on is this concept of sky for all, which is the far term evolution, where you can have ubiquitous operations, where people can basically go anywhere. How would you communicate? I think this is just Kieran speaking. The challenge with that is that, well, first getting everyone, to this, kind of the same reference point, that we're all, that idea of talking the same language, that when we talk about a 4D trajectory, that can actually mean different things to different people. So I think, one of the biggest things is getting everyone on the same language so that we're consistent. We need to make sure that everyone's on the same page and that they're connecting, that we're kind of coming up with that common language.
yeah, and I think some education will be needed because I already see people who are working on solution development for advanced air mobility, people who are working on, for example, goods and material transport for warehouses and logistics point of view. They are really not concerned about what happens in the UAM environment. That is something that, organizations like NASA can really influence on a much larger scale. That collaboration is, I think, going to be the key, right?
Yeah. And that's one of the reasons why NASA's involved in that, is that we're somewhat uniquely positioned, that we're not
Yeah.
trying to make a specific use case happen.
Yeah,
That's
exactly. Yeah.
not, we can take that step back and say, okay, we need to consider all these different use cases and how would they be integrated and what are those commonalities. But at the same time, how do we make sure that everyone understand, give them that kind of, like you said, that kind of framework within which they fit, their use cases accommodated, but give them, the opportunity to have that awareness of how they might have to interact with other operators with different use cases, different priorities, and in fact, different modes of operation. What would change about if you're primarily focused on moving freight, well, understand you may not have that level of safety requirement that something a passenger carrying vehicle
Yeah.
has, but there's still, you still need to be able to accommodate. The system has to accommodate all
Yeah.
those use
Yeah.
cases.